All right, welcome back. We continue live right here at Pittsburgh CW. It's the Allegheny Health Network Nightly Sports Call on the Borders and Borders Hotline, and we're pretty fired up tonight. Bob Pompeani and Paul Zeise with you. So we'll start taking those calls because we stated our case here. That was a gift wrap job by the Pirates. Say, here, Cubs, take it. You're struggling. We want to help you out to regain your World Series status. Let's go to Joe in Penn Hills. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Oh, Paul, I loved it, man. You guys went crazy, and I was crazier just before you were at the game. But let's face it, Hurdle lost this game. He's below average. He's going to do it by committee. You can't have a closer by committee. Polanco got the longest swing in baseball. I'd set him for a week, and because he got, he gets a lot of money for just being what he's doing, a Tabata act. And Hurdle got to keep Rivera, and that's it, Bob.
I agree. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Either you have a closer or you don't, and if you don't, then just throw everyone out there. But you do. The thing is, Rivera has the onions to go out there and face that situation. He likes it. He relishes it. He's got a 101-mile-an-hour fastball. Nobody else on this team has that. Nobody else has the moxie, the confidence that kid does. Have you not seen enough? And my other gripe, Paul, again, is this whole notion that you can't have a guy out for 2 innings in a row. There used to be guys with 4 innings saves, 3 innings. Now the analytics people come in, you got to save his arm. He can't have more. Oh, that's a bunch of BS.
And more importantly, Bob, here's the thing, and here's why you don't use in the 8th inning, okay? If you put Nicasio in to start the 8th and he gets into trouble, guess what? Then you can put Rivero in with 1 out or 2 outs in the 8th. And now you have Rivero to finish the game. If you use Rivero in the 8th and Juan Nicasio gets into trouble in the 9th, or Tony Watson, or Daniel Hudson, or whoever the heck you want to put back there, if they get into trouble in the 9th, guess what, Bob? You have nobody to come in and finish the game.
Right.
That's why you save Rivero for the end of the game.
Exactly. And if you decide he's in the 8th, then you should have come to the conclusion he should pitch the 8th and the 9th. And if that's not the case, then don't use him in the 8th.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people on Twitter here today. Honey Roy Palmer says, don't matter, your closer. Rivero should be it. Should not. Brian Bolton says, how can a team have the best reliever in baseball at the same time have the worst bullpen? How many days until training camp? Let's go out to line 3. That's Smiling Bob in Washington. Hey, Smiling Bob, how you doing?
Good evening, guys. I'll tell you what, I know you don't want to discuss analytics, but I'll give you the analytics that make all the sense here. Nicasio with Hayward. Hayward is batting .382 against him. You cannot let Nicasio start that inning.
Exactly.
Everybody in this town knows it except Clint Hurdle. I have no idea. Clint is going out. He's going to be gone, and it's just a question of when, because he is.
Oh, didn't he just sign an extension? I don't know.
There's reported that him and Huntington just got an extension. And look, I love Clint Hurdle. I think he's done
so do I.
But here's what I think. One of the things he always says is we don't want to overthink these things. We don't want to overcook this stuff. You know what him and Neil Huntington have been doing this entire year? Trying to prove that they're smarter than everybody else by overcooking things, and it's blowing up in their face. Just put the lineups together and keep the roster together the way it's supposed to, the way that's logical, the way they've been doing it for years. I know that is the boogeyman to newfangled analytics guys to say, do things the way that they've worked for years. But this is ridiculous. This season has been ridiculous.
Dennis on Twitter says, it's great to watch you and Paul blow up and get aggravated. Heath Bloxton says, Hurdle is currently thinking of every excuse in the book preparing his comments. Calheimer says on Twitter, Polanco now 7 for his last 50, 140 batting in the 3-hole. He can't bat there anymore. They don't have anyone to bat anywhere, and McCutcheon doesn't want to bat there because he can't bat there. So now you got to do something. Let's go to Rick in Squirrel Hill, get him in. What's up, Rick? How you doing?
Hi, Bob. Hey, I just want to say I think Hurdle is the worst manager in baseball. He's cost us just in the last few weeks 2 games against the Orioles. He cost them tonight. He should have a set lineup. And I'm tired of this. Like you said, Rivera should be in the 9th inning. And what's a tougher sport, hockey or baseball? If you watch the Penguins, unless they're injured, they always play. Hurdle, it's like, well, he threw 25 pitches. He can't go tomorrow. The guy in the outfield took too many steps. We got to rest him. I mean, it's ridiculous. This guy's cost us. And, and a lot of people on TV, they'll say something negative about him, but they say, well, I still think he's a great manager. I don't. I think he's one of the worst.
All right. Thank you. Any comment about that?
I mean, again, I don't know that he's one of the worst. I think that he does a lot of good things, but I'm just telling you this year, it feels like, Bob, they want to try and become this analytics team that is smarter than everybody instead of just using some logical things.
Mike in Breezewood is next up. Hello, Mike. How you doing?
Yes, good evening. Just wanted to preach the Hurdle thing. Why do you take your starter out after 5 innings? You got a runner on first with 2 outs. Let him in there. He's retired 12 in a row.
Yeah, he was on a groove. Trevor Williams said settle down.
If you go to extra innings, you've basically lost your entire bullpen. In the ninth, they put the shift on, and they pitch the guy away, and he hits it down the line. That's stupidity. I've been preaching for Hurdle to go for the last 3 years, and he's got to go. You got to manage a little bit with your gut and not with this.
But here's the thing.
All the time.
Can I just say one thing, Bob? If those of you who are angry and upset about these decisions from Hurdle, I think a number of them, the defensive shifts, how to use the bullpen, the lineups, all that stuff, I think a lot of that comes from the, above, the think tank above. And that Hurdle has actually been somewhat resistant to some of these things. And, and the bottom line is, I'm not saying that absolves him, but I don't think it's all him. And I think you need to understand that. This comes from above him just as much as it comes from him. That's the way that they want to do things.
Yeah. Pittsburgh Jesus says, tell Zeise to meet me at Jiggers for a drink. We'll discuss potential future lineup changes. We have a lot of good Twitter. Let's go to Bob in Indiana. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
I'm not doing good after that game, gentlemen. That was one of the worst ones I've seen in a while.
It was a giveaway night. It was absolutely there for the taking, and they let him off the hook. And now, don't be surprised if Chicago turns their season around based on that.
Well, if they want to give something away, they're going to have to start making bobbleheads because they keep, making game decisions like that. They're not going to have nobody in the stands. But Polanco is awful, absolutely awful.
Yeah.
How about the play he made in right where he was, in the ninth inning where it was a critical time? I think it was Hayward's ball.
Right.
Ball's on the ground. He doesn't even know where he's playing soccer with it.
They got issues. Let's go to Mark in South Park. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
All right. What's up?
I was just wondering if you thought there were any similarities between the Pens coach and Fleury and Dick and Peyton in that Super Bowl.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, like how Dick wouldn't let Peyton, run the ball in for, a touchdown, and the Pens coach wouldn't let Fleury play. I mean, I understand why he did it.
He didn't make it, well, it's all you have to do is listen to this. Sullivan likes Murray. Murray won a cup last year. He was the #1 coming in. The only reason he didn't start because he broke his hand in the World Championship Classic, whatever that was. And so when he was injured, Fleury came in. Sullivan needed one opportunity to put Murray in, and he did it again. That's predictable. That's what Mike Sullivan wanted. I mean, that's how this has gone. What can you say?
I was trying to follow what he was saying.
I couldn't.
Here's what he was saying. Walter Payton did not get to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. The Fridge did, if you remember okay?
And it worked.
Right, but people were upset at Mike Ditka. And there was some school of thought that Ditka didn't want Peyton to score. He wanted the Fridge to score, you know what I mean, because the Fridge was his invention. So this guy's saying, is it similar the way that Sullivan didn't want Fleury to be the hero?
I misunderstood him. I didn't
but my point is, he's saying that Sullivan didn't want Fleury to be the hero, which...
No, I think Sullivan made the best decision. He thinks, and he has proof now, that Matt Murray is a better goaltender in his opinion, so he's going to go with who he went with.
The other thing, there's just a group of people in this town that just the parade was 2 days ago, and they still can't be happy about something. They're still unhappy about stuff. We had a parade here. Celebrate. Be happy. Forget.
Fleury's going to make $12 million over the next 2 years, regardless of where he plays.
Let me just say this: I did the post-game show on the Fan after they won the championship. The second call was a guy complaining that if Fleury had played that game, they would have lost.
Of course.
I hung up on him. You just won a championship, and you're still arguing about Fleury and Murray.
We're due for a break, and we have to calm down. We'll do it both. We're ready to go live.